Hello everybody, how are you? Welcome to American Defender. Today I would like to talk about what I consider to be the most innovative and influential handgun of the 21st century. What we have here that we're going to talk about today is the Beretta PX4 Storm. Now, I made that claim at the beginning of the video. It's the most influential and it's the most innovative handgun of the 21st century. And a lot of you probably don't understand why I'm saying that. Let me go over some of the features of this handgun. And let me remind you that this handgun came out 21 years ago. And really, its predecessor, the Beretta Cougar, showed up in 1995. That's how long ago some of these features that are on this handgun were introduced on the market. And here we are in 2025, and every single one of them has either become or is starting to become the standard. All right. So we have a 4-inch barrel here that is cold hammer forged. It is chrome lined. The slide is made out of a solid piece of specially formulated billet steel, and it's just machined down. Okay, we have our front sights and rear sights are both dovetailed in, and they are a phosphorescent night sight. Okay, so let me see if I can show you what I mean by that. All right, so there is, I don't mean to flag myself, I know it's empty, but there's the sight right there. You can kind of see what they look like. They're a 3-dot. I'm going to grab my black light here. And just this quick, now they're glowing. All right. I mean, they're absolutely just glowing away right now. If I get on them a little bit more, just so you guys can see them. Here in the light, I got 3 lights on you right now. There you go. All right. Just absolutely glowing away. The forward serrations, rearward serrations. The very first handgun on the market to offer replaceable back straps. You can switch the, especially on a polymer handgun, of course you can only do that on a polymer handgun, you can switch the mag release over left to right. Okay. This one is a decocker with safety model known as an F. It can be converted between their F model and their G model by removing a detent and a spring in the safety, so it'll be decocker only then. You have a proprietary rail system in the front that happens to be a Glock style proprietary rail. You guys remember Glock's old rail like that? All right. Double action, single action. Has about an 8-pound double action pull. Then it goes into about a 4-pound single action pull. Capacity wise, this would ship in 40 Smith & Wesson would ship with 2 14-round magazines nowadays. In the old days, when this one was made in 2007, dig it out of my thing over here, you would also get one 17-round factory magazine, as you can see by the little Beretta symbol on the bottom there. So that is what you would get right there. All right. It is 5.5 inches tall. Overall length on it is 6 inches long. All right. Weight-wise, empty is 28 ounces. So it weighs just about what a Glock 17, Glock 22 would weigh. All right. However, it's not a big old brick like the Glock is. It actually has some curves to it. We have a kind of a narrow slide up here. They did some cuts on it here to kind of make it so it wasn't so squared off. All right. Really, in all honesty, you know, when these first came out, I looked at them. I thought they were weird looking. But as time's gone on, I actually find them to be a very attractive handgun. I really do. The grip, again, is very, very comfortable. You have the stippling in the front, the stippling in the rear. There's no stippling on the sides, which I kind of like that. And the stippling's just aggressive enough. It's not crazy. Now, some guys like stippling or sandpaper, basically. You can get the Talon grips for this all day long. Performance-wise, testing this, they designed this gun around the 40 Smith & Wesson, and then adapted it to 9 and 45. It went 150,000 rounds in military testing. It was designed for military and police use. That is why it has a chrome-lined barrel. That is why they went with this rotating barrel design. Okay, that is why they went with that. Because it's stronger than the stereotypical tilting barrel locking block design. Okay, it's stronger. It also sucks up a ton of recoil and is far more accurate because it's kind of got the dependability of the lockup and everything, you know, but it's also got that accuracy of a fixed barrel like you would have in a Walther, all right, or even a damn high point. Okay, so it stays level all the time. That barrel doesn't tilt; it stays straight the entire time. Okay. And it just makes it a very, very easy gun to shoot. Here's a target. We took it out. I ran a couple mags through it at an indoor range. And I actually had them turn the lights down because I wanted to kind of put some sunglasses on because I really wanted to simulate like a situation in the evening with this. Okay. Couldn't film it. They don't allow filming at this range. I didn't go to the one I normally go to. All right. But there's what we got. 10 yards. I had the target moving at me. And aiming center of mass. Got him in the heart. Got him in the lungs. This was, let's see here. This was the first magazine here. All right. So I noticed that I was off to the left a little bit. And so then I corrected. And then all of these groups right here started showing up. All right. So for the first shots in slightly adverse conditions, and this wasn't slow, careful aim fire. This probably had a report when I was shooting like you would have in a defensive shooting. It was bam, 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 you know, and shoot till they drop. It was just come up and boom, 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 you know, just like that. And that's how it went. And the thing that really helped was that rotating barrel, the way the grip feels in the hand, this beautiful trigger on this thing, the light recoil, the sights. I mean, the whole package came together right there. A lot of people will look at this handgun and go, man, is it ugly. Put one in your hand and shoot it. Shoot it, and you'll see what I mean. Fantastic. It felt like a 380 ACP in my hand. Okay. I put it up against, see if I can grab it over here, not ripping it. I put it up against, earlier in the day, I'd gone to the other range, with the CZ75 PO1 Omega. Shot 100 rounds out of that. And I wanted to see, this was slow fire off of a rest. I wanted to see the difference between the two. There's the difference. There really isn't one. All right? There really just isn't a difference. And the ammunition that was used for the 9mm was this stuff, the Federated Ordnance 124 grain. For the 40 Smith & Wesson, I decided, all right, let's go apples for apples. And we used the Federal Premium Ballista Clean in 40 Smith & Wesson, which is a 125 grain projectile. All right, it's frangible. And it is advertised at 1,300 feet per second at the muzzle and 470 foot-pounds of energy versus 1150 364. Okay, so absolutely more power. Really didn't feel any more recoil. As a matter of fact, the CZ, which is touted for being the recoil champ because it has that, you know, really low bore axis, and the slide goes down into the frame. It was an aluminum frame versus a polymer frame. It's supposed to be the more accurate gun. Now the Beretta kicked its ass. There's that ammo right there. That's what it looks like. Okay. This is actually specifically made for an indoor range. So I mean, I had more power, I had more control, better trigger. Everything about the Beretta was better than the CZ. All right, everything about it was better. That's why the CZ is no longer here, because this defender and I both were just so very upset at the performance of that CZ, and we had been talked up for years about CZ and that PO1 and the SPO1. And again, you guys know I had some clone CZs in the past, TriStars, Tenfoglios, and all those, and I really liked those. And I had an old Prebe CZ75 that was fantastic. So I thought that the new PO1 Omega was going to be even better, and it was okay. It didn't shoot as good as my clones. It didn't shoot as good as my Prebe, and it didn't hold a candle to that 40 Smith & Wesson out of that Beretta. So it's gone. All right. If you were to ask me what gun should I buy, and I generally don't do this kind of stuff in these videos, okay? If you were a new gun owner and you were like, what should I go get? I'm going to tell you to go buy the Beretta, all right? Because chances are you're looking at spending about, what, $650 on a handgun. You're probably looking at a Gen 5 Glock right now. I'm going to tell you to skip the Glock. Definitely skip the SIG 320. Value your life more than that. You're safer off with a Jennings than you are a SIG 320 at this point in the time, okay? Go get the Beretta. Go buy the Beretta PX4 Storm. They're anywhere new from $6 to $649, same price as the Glock Gen 5. Used, you can find them $300 to $400. Okay, I've even heard of some people finding them in some stores as low as $250. Okay, but it's a better gun, and it's the most innovative and the most influential gun of the 21st century because of all of these different features. All right, this started all of it, and nobody even recognizes that. Nobody even realizes, hey, wait a minute, Beretta came up with the exchangeable backstrap idea, and they were the first polymer gun to have the swappable, mag releases, and they were the first one to do, on a polymer frame, to have ambidextrous controls. They were the first one to do the rotating barrel. They were the first one to make night sight standard that are, nobody ever stops to think about that. Part of the reason is there's not a lot of advertising out about this. Even in 2004, there wasn't a lot of advertising about the PX4 Storm. There wasn't a lot. There's a lot of military and police use with this. I'll see if I can find it and get a hold of it. And if I can, it's sitting right there in front of your face right now. There should be a map right here of all the different countries that have used this particular pistol in either a military or police role. And if you look at the Americas, it's solid blue all the way down. The blue depicts that that's where it was used. The entire United States is blue. Canada is blue. Mexico, South America, blue. You go over to Europe, in that area, there's big patches of blue everywhere. Okay, it is a NATO-approved handgun. All right, it was designed for use and abuse and just the rugged stuff of everyday carry. Even it was designed for that. It is the standard. It took everything up a notch, and today all of the features on this handgun, we find them on every polymer gun now that's coming out, whether it's double action, single action, or striker fired. It's on all of them. All right, so I would say buy this. I would tell you to buy this. They come in a compact. They come in a subcompact, but you can't buy the subcompact new anymore. They quit making that one 2 years ago. They make the full size. Langdon Team Tactical has now jumped in on them a few years ago. They're here in Arizona. They're actually about 5 miles away from me. And I've been in their store. They have their own version of this. People are using this in ISPA and all that, competitive stuff. People are putting them up against staccatos, and yeah, they They shoot that good. They're right there with that staccato, which is a $2,600 1911 clone. Well, it's technically a 2011 clone, but either way, they're that good. They're that damn good. Even out of the box, they're very, very good. And you can buy one brand new for $650. So, I absolutely love it, and really, that's all I have to say about it. That's all I have to say about it. Oh, holsters. People talk about holsters with this. Let me just run this one by you real quick. You'll see online people talking about how hard it is to find a holster for this handgun. Those people aren't looking hard enough, because I went online and every major holster maker, Alien Gear, Tagua, Crossbreed, they all make a holster for this thing. All right. But you don't absolutely have to have a holster specifically made for the Beretta to use the holster. And let me exemplify this for you. This is my Tagua Econo leather for a Glock 26. There we go. The button comes around, and it will snap. And there we go. Yes, the barrel hangs out. If I got one for a Glock 17, that would be covered, but it doesn't really matter. All right, but there it is. So there's your inside the waistband, outside the waistband holster from Tagua. It's a leather holster. You got your snap on here. It pulls right out. Crossbreed. Now, Crossbreed does make a holster for it. I usually go out and find used Crossbreeds. This one was for an M&P 40. All right, it goes right in. Now, I have reshaped this. I ended up reshaping this for an XDM in 40 Smith & Wesson, but there it is. All right, goes right on in there. Like I said, it's for an XD, but I can still turn it upside down. You know, it's got to pretend the belt's on there. So if the belt was on here, you know, you're good to go. There's just different ways to do it. So that's another option. Every major manufacturer out there makes a holster for this. Galco makes a holster. They make 3 or 4 holsters for it. Who else did I see that made one? Alien Gear makes an inside and an outside the waistband holster. Bulldog, they make a few holsters for it. I mean, just check with your holster manufacturers. They make a holster for this gun. Okay, they make one. If not, Glock holsters appear to work if they're of the leather variety. All right, so I wanted to talk about that and kind of clear that up a little bit, help people out with that. I think I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here, guys. I've spoken my piece. I have a video coming up for the Hookin' with Jim show. I'm going to be doing one of those shows a week, or at least trying to do that for the fishing side of things. But there you go. That is the Beretta PX4 Storm. The most innovative, the most influential pistol of the 21st century. Right there. Thank you for watching. God bless you. And I'll see you on the flip. Bye now.